He knocked me over. I landed on the dog bowl.
This one's wife. She monitors his communications. We turn to the Royal Observer and an article by Charles Switzer. The headline is, Prince Harry is not allowed to speak to sick Kate Middleton unless this one's wife clears it first. This one's wife seems to run Prince Harry like a proverbial puppet, according to a royal commentator. I personally don't believe that Harry would speak to Catherine privately without this one's wife's blessing, entertainment and royal expert Kinsey Schofield dished. The popular blogger also shared how Kate, Princess of Wales, and Prince William were laser-focused on their goals, and this has ensured that both have made it a point to distance themselves from the Monty Shit Show drama train. Schofield made these claims after reports surfaced during the summer of 2023 that suggested the Princess of Wales made late-night calls to Harry in an apparent effort to try and mend the feud. This resurfaced insight is currently being evaluated in the wake of the future Queen's recuperation in a London hospital from abdominal surgery last week. It is currently unknown if the fifth in line to the throne reached out to his relative, whom he has known for over 20 years. The Princess of Wales is not making late-night calls to Prince Harry, Schofield added during her talk to a publication. A significant amount of William's unhappiness towards Harry revolves around Harry and this one's wife discussing Catherine so openly to Oprah and within Harry's memoir Spare. Catherine is very respectful of Prince William's feelings and wouldn't go behind his back to execute anything. The thought of her crawling out of bed to make phone calls is quite silly. She continued, William and Catherine do not receive regular updates on Harry and this one's wife, so Kate would not be aware of any difficulties Harry was having to advise him to keep his chin up. The Prince and Princess of Wales are laser-focused on their goals and are not distracted by the drama that seems to follow the Sussexes. They have made it a point to distance themselves. Since the time of this speculation, the rift between the houses is believed to have declined even further. I think they mean widened, and if Kate was talking to Harry, she stopped many months ago. The fact is, there's speculation that there would be interaction between them. However, the observation is that Harry wouldn't be able to speak to his sister-in-law without this one's wife approving it. This is entirely the case. As a narcissist, this one's wife needs to control everybody that she interacts with. Whether it's the milkman, whether it's a nanny, whether it's her mother, whether it's Harry. No matter what position the person has within her fuel matrix, tertiary, secondary or primary source, control must be obtained. She also needs to obtain fuel from these individuals, and from some character traits and residual benefits. These are the prime aims, of which control and fuel are the most important. There are lots of different ways that a narcissist maintains control, and one of the most common ones is to monitor the ability of an appliance to communicate with others. Invariably, it is the intimate partner primary source that suffers the most in this regard because they are the most important person within the fuel matrix. They are the main provider of fuel, character traits and residual benefits, and therefore they must be controlled. If Harry is sat looking at his phone, chortling to himself, he's reacting to something which has nothing to do with this one's wife. That causes substantial wounding to her. That will prompt her to ask, "What's so funny, Ginger Bollocks?" And therefore he has to explain himself. It might be something innocuous, a silly video from the internet. And once he explains that's what it is, she simply harumphs at him, and the fact that he's responded to her inquiry demonstrates that he has come back under control. However, her paranoia is going to cause her to believe that Harry is a naughty ginger little fucker who is chatting away to people behind her back, even when he won't be. that he's texting Chelsea, having conversations with the nemesis Catherine, that he's sending emails to his father, all of which is regarded by this one's wife as traitorous behaviour. Not only because he's sending fuel to other people, although, apart from Charles, the other individuals don't need it, the fact is that because he's doing things of his own volition, interacting with other people, and some of those people have been viewed as problematic and therefore could be affecting her control over him, she needs to stay on top of what he's doing. Those of you who have had involvement with narcissists, particularly within a romantic setting, will be aware of how the narcissist would invariably snoop on what you were doing. Perhaps you found them listening in on your telephone calls when you were in a separate room. They were eavesdropping through the door. It's often the case that the narcissist wants to know what's on your phone, asking, sometimes demanding, access to your phone to see who you've been messaging, to see who you've been in contact with, going through it. I know of certain narcissists that would engage in regular audits of their partner's phone, making it clear that it was a term of the relationship that they be given full access to that individual's phone, so that the paranoia that drives the narcissist enables them to check on who the victim is interacting with in order to maintain that control. And it'll be no different for Harry. As a mid-range narcissist, this one's wife will evidence insecurity, so that when there is a ping on Harry's phone from a message, which might just be, for instance, from one of his friends saying, "Hey, long time no speak," immediately her mind goes to, "What's that? Is that some woman that you're in communication with?" and makes that false accusation against him, which is designed by her narcissism to provoke Harry into pleading his innocence. Remember also that because Harry's in the sustained devaluation, everything that he is doing when he's in that devaluation is viewed through the lens of being painted black. Therefore, innocuous communications are him having an affair with somebody. An email that comes in is him receiving nudes from some woman that he's tarting around with. A telephone call that occurs perhaps at a time when it was a little bit unusual is clearly his mistress trying to get in touch for a bit of hanky-panky. This one's wife will monitor his communications to nullify the possibility of him having some form of intimate liaison with somebody else, but also with regard to certain members of the family. Because those members of the family have been identified as problematic, likely to interfere with her control over Harry, for instance, because Catherine had a pre-existing excellent relationship with Harry, this is something that this one's wife has always been envious of. Catherine was on the scene before her. Catherine actually knows Harry better than she does. This is something that she cannot stand, because the narcissism regards it as a possibility of her knowledge of Harry, enabling her to say to Harry, "This woman's a problem, you need to get away." Not because this one's wife recognises that she's a problem, far from it, but she would believe that Catherine would say those types of things because, of course, she regards Catherine as an interfering traitor who's there to try and cause her marriage to fall apart. This is the rampant paranoia that shrouds this one's wife on a daily basis, and therefore leads her to engage in the behaviour of approving any communication that Harry might have with Catherine, and indeed would lead her to monitor his communications, to see what he's doing, to see who he's talking to find out what he's up to, all in order to maintain that control. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.